Okay, so I've been on T for like 2.5 months now, which means it's been 2 months since I did a um, video. Sorry about that. I've been really busy. Um, I that's my fault. I Work's been crazy, but I've also been a lot more social, which was weird for me. It started around the same time as I started T. I think it was kind of a like side effect of the T, like not a medical side effect, but a side effect. Um, I started feeling a lot more confident about myself, so I was going out a lot, and I was feeling less tired all the time, so it made me want to go out, which is pretty cool. That's kind of dwindled off lately, I think because my friends have been busy, and I'm feeling tired a lot. Work's been crazy and stuff. But, sorry I haven't made a video, because all, like, two of you out there have been waiting. Um, so, uh, things have been going really well. Um, there's been some interesting situations that, yeah, it's been interesting. So I work in a police department. I'm not, like, I don't work for the police, but I work for an organization that has an operation inside the police department. And so about half the time I work inside the police department. Um, I went to use the bathroom in there one day and was I wasn't directly confronted, but one of my coworkers was confronted by some people, and they were told that officers were uncomfortable with me using the bathroom, and they didn't want me to use it until I was legal. Um, it caused some big shit. Uh, our organizations, the police department and my organization, are very, very close partners, and we want to keep that partnership because it's really important. Um, so I didn't want to cause any drama, um, and say no, I'm fucking using the bathroom I want to use, but I also didn't. It made me feel really shitty to have these people saying like you're not a guy enough to use this bathroom, and we think you're gonna be like looking at our junk, and we don't want to be in there with a woman, and like it was that's not they didn't say that, but that's what they were saying, you know. So it was an interesting situation. Luckily, my organization was really supportive of me, and they said, "Look, if you want to pursue this and like fight this, we can." It the city had like a kind of policy that I could use it, but they'd never actually, in at least inside the police department, there'd never been a trans person there that had challenged them and asked them to use their bathroom that their gender identity matched. Um, and so it would have, like, it could have been a huge problem, especially because the bathroom is also a locker room, and you know how people can be. Um, so my my organization was incredibly supportive. Um, but yeah, it was an interesting thing. It was the first time I felt I've been really lucky. Both of my jobs since I have come out, I've been out. I haven't had like I've had transphobia, but I haven't had like overt discrimination. Um, it was the first time I felt like I was gonna be held back or something was gonna. I don't know. Like I felt afraid walking into bathrooms in random ass places, but this was my work, and I wasn't gonna be able to use the fucking bathroom. Like I have to use this unisex one or just the one in this room that we work in all the time. So if that's broken, I have to go to this shitty one down the hall that like just made me feel really bad. Like why can't they just accept who I am? Um, it's all been worked out now, and everything's fine. I don't know. It's just a really interesting experience. Um, I mean, in the like trans community. I know I'm very, very privileged to have such supportive people and to have a community here. Um, to not really have to hide who I am. And so it was just it was just a reality check. And it was really sad. Um, yeah, I didn't like it. Um, I know nobody does. It was just a rough couple weeks. But now it's all worked out and it's okay. Not all the way. I mean, I, I'm still, yeah, it's not all the way worked out. But what I'm doing is going and trying to make friends with all of the people who work for the police department and basically trying to get them to see me as a person, and having them get to know me really well. And I'm very, very open about the fact that I'm trans, because my organization supports me, and the president knows I'm trans. Everyone there, I'm. They all know that I'm trans, and they're fine with it. So, if the police department has a problem with me being trans, I don't work for them. So, um, I've gone through enough adversity in my life. Like this trans, me coming out as trans has been the easiest part of my life. Um, so I can deal with working with people who aren't my coworkers, who would think I'm weird if, or not weird, who would think I don't know, who don't like the fact that I'm trans if I'm open about it. So I'm very open about the fact that I'm trans, and it's seeming to work really well because people have a lot of trouble othering someone who they know. So I had people who a month ago just thought of me as female, and now they will use female pronouns and then correct themselves. Not all the time, it happens occasionally, but they're starting to ask questions and they're starting to wonder about it, and I like it. I feel like I'm educating people. I'm not being militant about it. I'm not really actively correcting people. Mostly because I feel like it's not, we're working and I don't have time to get into that kind of conversation. But just being there and being open is making a difference, and that's good. Um, it's pretty awesome. Um, yeah. Uh, I have recently realized that, like, I've heard a lot of guys talk about when they go into T, they have trouble empathizing and they don't feel emotions as strongly as they used to, and that's worked out really well for me. I used to be pretty overly emotional. I'd get hit very hard with emotions. I've had issues with guilt. Because of my upbringing, I have severe guilt issues, and I would feel bad for shit that was not in any way my fault. And I feel anxiety about stuff that, like, if a friend of mine was in another state, was going through something, and I couldn't do anything about it, and it was in no way my fault, I would feel guilty that I wasn't helping them, and I would feel anxious about it, and it would get me down, and it was bad. But I've been able to kind of remove myself from that, and it's really been good for me. I've been able to not feel guilty about things, and I've been able to not be so anxious about it, and I've been able to stick up for myself. Um, there have been some situations in the last like 2 months uh, where I felt like people have been taking advantage of me, uh, or I've been giving them more, either physically or emotionally, than they've been giving me, and I've told them that it's shitty and it needs to stop, or I'm not gonna give them what I am giving them, and it feels good. I feel like I'm sticking up for myself, and I feel like I'm being, I don't know, I feel like I'm in an emotionally stable place, which is good, because I haven't felt like that in a long time. So that's awesome. Uh, physically, my voice is dropping, which is awesome. A friend of mine, or coworker of mine, went on vacation last Friday and came back today, so Thursday. Uh, and she saw me this morning and she goes, "Are you sick?" And I said, "No, my voice is just dropping and cracking." It's so cool. Uh, Everyone else just thinks it's funny. I think it's cool. Um, so that's pretty awesome. Uh, Whenever my dog is doing something weird, or whenever I'm just trying to call him and be silly, I'm like, Dakin! And if I say it really loud, I can't, like, get my voice loud. It just kind of flatlines and gets all squeaky. Hopefully that stops. Um, yeah. I have little fuzz. Um, it's not really noticeable when you're just looking at it, but I shave it off because I really like shaving, so I'm really excited I get to do that now. Um, so that's cool. And I'm building a lot of muscle mass, which is great. I need to start going to the gym though. I don't do that, and I really need to. So, yeah. And that's awesome. Yeah. What else was I going to talk about? So, there have been some things that I was concerned about, but I haven't heard a lot of guys talk about, and it's kind of hard to find things on. Um, oh, also, I've been getting itchy bumps whenever I shoot MIT. I'm on testosterone anthentate. So I think this is the one that's mixed with cottonseed. No, sesame seed. So I seem to be having a reaction to it. That's completely normal. Um, I can't find anything about that online because whenever I search for tea, it takes me to these fucking stupid steroid websites, and I hate that. But this is how it goes. I'm on point 0.3 cc's now. Once a week. It's a low dose. That's just how my doctor goes. I'm going back to him in 2 weeks, and I will get upped. Probably, because he's going to do more blood work, and I'll probably go up to 0.5. But I mean, the changes are happening. Fine. I don't have a lot of zits, so maybe that's because I'm on low dose. Maybe it's just because I don't get a lot of zits. I didn't get them when I was a teenager. They're teenagers, so I don't know. We'll see. So I had a lot of questions about stuff that I haven't been able to find, and it's kind of embarrassing. But I asked some friends, and they were having the same types of questions. Um, so if you're a friend of mine, like guy friends who are also trans or on T or stuff, that's who I asked, not random ass friends. If you're a friend of mine, and you don't, because I know some of my friends watch this, and you don't want to know about my junk, um, I would stop watching. Or if you're triggered by this type of stuff, I'd stop watching. Um, so, first thing, pretty immediately after I started T, um, I got really, really horny all the time. Like, I'd go from nothing, just driving or something, literally driving. I remember this happening. All of a sudden, I got really, really horny and couldn't control it. It's like being a teenage boy. I have a friend who's 2 months on T now, so like he started 2 weeks after me. Yeah, he says the exact same thing has happened to him. Luckily, he's married. I am not dating anybody right now, so it's not a fun situation to be in. But it's just how it goes. Um, uh, so that we'll see how long that goes on. Another thing, pretty much almost immediately, like not almost immediately, like a week, a month. Um, there were like noticeable changes in size, like growth started happening down there, which I thought it was gonna take longer. Like everything I read made it seem like it's gonna take longer. Nope, pretty quick. Not a lot, but something, which is cool. Um, I don't know. It seemed like it was gonna be longer, but it's not. Um, so I thought that was cool. The last thing that was it's very frustrating. Deacon, you can move. Thank you. Okay, Deacon. Okay. Deacon wants to be on the computer. The last thing is really annoying. Um, and I know I'm not the only one that's had problems because a friend of mine and I were, I asked him very embarrassedly, whether he's had the same problem, and he said yep. Um, and he said he was worried about it too, but didn't want to ask anybody. Things are very dry and itchy, and I was like, holy shit, do I have something? Like, what the hell's going on? It's just, apparently that's completely normal. And I have a friend who's been on tea for 5 years now, and he says that it's gonna stop. Um, but it happens. Apparently, it's the since the estrogen output's stopping, that's just all drying up. It's basically the same thing that happens during menopause. So we're going through menopause and puberty. That didn't occur to me until I started that that's what's going to happen. Thank you so much, Luke. I'm sure that everybody appreciates having the computer get moved around. So yeah, but that's normal. I actually mentioned that to my doctor, I think, or no, a nurse friend of mine. Um, they said yogurt. Just try to keep everything from getting infected. Yep. So that's normal, and that's really fucking annoying. But hopefully that'll clear up soon. Yeah, and that's all I can think of now. And I know I'm rambling, and that's because one of the side effects of tea that my doctor said was decreased attention span. And I already had ADD beforehand, and now it's fucking out of control. But yeah, okay. So I'll try to do this again in like 2 weeks if anybody cares. And hopefully Dee can work on the computer that time. Thank you.